So I'm going to go ahead and build this printer enclosure here in the garage. I already built a shelf system in the garage a couple years back. Now we're going to be using the Cinecubic Photon Mono 4K. It's a smaller one. And as you can see, I already kind of got started. What I've done so far is I cut this insulation board that you can get at Home Depot. I just shoved it in there. It's not really moving. I cut those to pieces, just kind of laying there. That one's already cut to size as well. And you can see that I'm going to put it a little bit like this. It's actually probably upside down right now, but it's going to be a tighter fit. Now, the original plan was to go ahead and make two doors, one that swung out to the right and then one that swung out to the left. I changed my mind halfway through. So the goal with this box is to pretty much have an even temperature while printing your resin prints. So right here on the bottom, I'm trying to fill in that gap so air can't come in or out. And then on the top, same idea, except on the sides, you can see it's a little shorter. That's to allow a little bit of ventilation. And if you're interested in making this or some version of it, you can pick up these insulation boards at Home Depot. I had these for about 3 years at this point. That's why they look all beat up. And they got a bunch of holes in them because I was shooting them with a bow and arrow. Now these hinges here, you can pick them up at the Home Depot. And I believe they're about $6 or $7. Don't quote me on that. And as you see here, this is where I switched over to a one-door system. But yeah, these magnet things are pretty cool. These are specifically made for doors. The only problem is, like, this door that I chose was thin, so I had to find a piece of wood, cut it down a little bit, and so the screws had something to screw into. Now the door is made of pegboard material. Again, it was just an item that I had lying around. Now I did find that this insulation foil tape was not adhering to that foam core as good as I thought it was going to, so I ended up using this 3M masking tape on all the cracks. And as I'm watching this back, I actually realized that I did not tape the bottom corners. So maybe I'll go do that later. But as per this video, I did not tape the bottom. So maybe you should if you try something like this. But remember to keep in mind that I was just trying to do this as fast, dirty, and cheap as I could. I was just really trying to get this resin printer up and running. I didn't want to, start printing inside the house. And I went ahead and stapled one of these windshield protectors that you get at like auto stores and stuff. Again, I had this one laying around, so it didn't really cost me anything. Then I went ahead and decided to hit it with that black spray paint. And you know what? It's actually starting to look way better after that. It did eat away a little bit at the foam, but not enough to cause any real damage. Alright, there was one thing that I really wanted now that I had a full-size door. And I was probably going to put this on, one of the doors, but it was definitely going to look better with a full-size door. And that was a viewing window to go ahead and check my progress without emptying and letting out all the heat. Also, fair warning, if you try cutting pegboard material with something like a Dremel, it's going to smoke up really fast. So make sure the area is well ventilated or you're wearing a gas mask of some sort. Now, you're going to hate me again for saying this, but I had this piece right here laying around. I have no clue what it went to, but it's pretty rad. I know you can pick up plexiglass material, like small pieces over at the Home Depot as well, towards the back. And again, fast, dirty, cheap. I just went ahead and hot glued it, and it looks all right. And this right here is a little space heater, and it's pretty small, pretty cheap. About $20 on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. And I did want to use LED lights at the top, but again, fast, dirty, cheap. I just used the light that I had lying around. So once I was satisfied with everything, I just went ahead and got to printing. And this is that Anycubic cube that comes on the USB drive already. And This right here was a little metal bracket, and again, I had it laying around. My bad. So now that the print was done, I really hadn't figured out how I was going to wash it, but I just went ahead and put it in a small Tupperware and shook it around. I used 70% alcohol mixed with like 91%, something I had lying around. Alright, how I chose to cure them, alright? I went ahead and used studio lights, if you guessed, that I had lying around, and a UV light that I also had lying around. And I just kind of flipped one upside down, so it's a little balancing act. But these studio lights are pretty much those kinds that are on tripods and stuff. I used them a long time ago when I tried photography. I was actually doing whatever worked here because, as you can see, I hung the cord from the garage railing system. So you guys just got to think outside the box if you're a poor person. If you're rich, by all means, go all out. And I went ahead and printed these Amera Labs calibration prints. If there was going to be something wrong with my settings with this Anycubic resin printer, I wanted to know. And once I had this in my hand, I was like, goodness, I mean, this resin printer is a game changer. You just cannot get these type of results on an FDM printer. At least not this small. You have to print big if you're going to do that. Now, if you are new to the 3D printing world, I would suggest you start with the filament printer first. I think there's just a lot that goes into resin printing that will really sidetrack you and might even discourage you. So I would definitely start with the regular filament printer. Now, yes, the 3D printer Enclosure was not the prettiest, but it did the job. It got the job done, and that's all that matters. But if you liked this video and you felt like you gained some value from it maybe, feel free to subscribe and like, comment, share, stuff like that. I appreciate it. Thank you.